Hey, floralpreneurs, it's Alison Ellis here of realflowerbusiness.com coming at you today with a little tip on mock-ups. So I get a lot of questions about mock-ups. Should you do mock-ups? Should they be free? What do I do when my customer asks for a mock-up and I don't usually do mock-ups? So here's the deal with mock-ups. Your company should have a policy on how you handle mock-ups. So are they included? Meaning, do you build that into your proposal so that you can give a free mock-up? Do you actually do a free mock-up because you have a flower shop and you can reuse these flowers, so it's not a big deal to pull this together if it's going to provide that peace of mind for your client? Or are you somebody who's a home studio florist like me, where in order to make a mock-up, I have to order, drive a half hour to my supplier, get the flowers, drive a half hour back, make an arrangement, and then, aside from making and getting, you have to set aside the time to actually present the mock-up, right? So a mock-up isn't just about the cost of the flowers or the time it takes to make the mock-up, to make the actual arrangement, right? The mock-up includes an additional meeting. It includes the time where you're discussing or making changes or getting that thumbs up that this is exactly what they want. So here are a couple of reasons why you might want to do a mock-up. I don't personally do a lot of mock-ups. In 17 years, I've probably done one. But here's the thing. You have to have trust from the client, and you have to have a clear understanding from the client of what they want for the not mock-up policy to be the right choice for you. If you have a client who doesn't fully trust you, or if you have a client whose vision isn't totally clear to you, doing a mock-up may truly be in your best interest so that you know that you're both on the same page. There's nothing more important when it comes to that wedding finalization, when you're actually having the client sign off and say, yep, this is what I want. There's nothing more important than your own clarity that you've got this right. And if you've been doing this for a long time, you know exactly what I mean. When you're given freedom to do whatever you want, that is great. But you can also feel less certain that you're hitting this out of the park. When a client is really, I'll just say the word picky, because I don't have a better choice right now. If a client is really specific, how about that, on what they want, you can tell right away when you're making a bouquet or designing an arrangement. You can tell right away whether you are hitting the mark for that client because they're so specific and you're hitting it just right. So there's a plus and a minus on any side of this. Now, should you charge for mock-ups? The short answer is yes, but let me tell you this. I know of a very high-end floral designer in New York City who said, you know, I do a free mock-up. And he said, I don't just do a free arrangement. I do a free everything, the whole table, the table, the linens, the chairs, the china, everything to sell this look to the client because it's worth it for him to put all that effort out and create this beautiful vision for the client that they can actually see and touch and experience so that he can book that $1 million job, right? So if it's a super high-end wedding, you might invest a little bit more in a mock-up so that you get that client, right? That was a little bit of an eye-opener for me, like, wow, okay, so that's how that works, right? Now, again, like I said, if you have a shop, you might do free mock-ups because it really is easy for you to do that. And if you don't have a shop, or even if you do have a shop, if you don't think a free mock-up is part of your policy, then you can set a price for it. So now how do you charge for it? Well, here's the thing, like I've already said, it's a lot of time. And that's really what it comes down to. For the mock-up, for me, yes, I want to be paid for the flowers that I bought, but even when I charge double, let's just say a centerpiece is $125, and I say it's going to be $250 for your centerpiece, for your mock-up, because I have to buy all these flowers that I can't otherwise use. That's usually why I end up not having to do a mock-up, because once they understand that there's a price that's more than the cost of a centerpiece because of all the product I have to get, they go, that seems a little excessive. Maybe that's not necessary. But if you have a client who really is willing to pay and wants to get that vision and it's in their benefit to do it, it's in your benefit to do it, then go ahead and make the mock-up. Just charge appropriately. And if you can't charge appropriately, right, because even at $250 for that $150 or $125 centerpiece, I am not getting paid for my time most likely, right? Even if I'm not getting a 3 times markup on those flowers, and I'm not getting paid for all my time. So if this is part of a courtesy you do, or if this is a paid service you do, you set a policy for your business on what works for mock-ups, okay? So whether you charge, whether it's complimentary, whether it's built into the proposal and it's included, just be clear with your clients about how you do this thing. And if you're afraid to do mock-ups, if you're like, oh, I just don't like it, do not fear, all right? In the 1 or 2, I think it was really only 1 instance where I had to make a mock-up, the mom loved it. Everything was almost exactly what we ended up doing on the wedding day. And there was one little comment that they would like more ivy, I believe is what it was, coming out of the centerpiece. That's easy. That's an easy fix, easy to say yes to. And from that moment on, right, my client, once they got their mock-up and they, I think they brought it to the venue, they did a whole thing. They trusted me from that moment forward. There was no question that this was just right, that we were on the same page. So the mock-up can provide a peace of mind for both of you. So just decide your policy and move forward from there, and keep doing beautiful work. I'll see you next time. Bye.